everyone. I am Founding Father Benjamin Franklin, and welcome to the Step Up America Foundation podcast. Join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we celebrate incredible Americans from all walks of life. You may hear from a NASA astronaut, a professional or amateur athlete, a musician, and of course, current and past military heroes, just to name a few. And who knows, you might even learn a thing or two along the way. Well, that's enough from me. Let me introduce you to our hosts, John McIntosh, Mark Renahan, and Adrian Garcia. Take it away, team.
Mark. Well, you're live, Mark.
Oh, you're supposed to
wake
introduce
up.
the show.
I am.
I'm
but
doing
you're
the
too
thing.
busy on your phone doing
No,
your thing. Anyway, I'm John. I'm going to cut right into this. This is Mark Renahan, and we also have Adrian Garcia and Noah behind the scenes. We got a really cool guest today, so I just want to cut to the chase and get right into it. But before we do, today is Tuesday, and as always, I want to introduce Lacey's Corner. Her Majesty, the one and only Lacey Evans. How are you, ma'am?
I'm alive. How are you nasties doing?
We're doing fabulous.
Doing good
We're doing
here.
fabulous. So we got a very special guest on the show today, Lacey. Mark's going to go ahead and introduce him, and we'll get right into this.
Yeah, as everyone likes to know here at the Step Up America Foundation, we always like to celebrate our veterans, and today is no different. And we have on a former Army First Sergeant. He was a sapper and a ranger. He has done multiple combat tours, and currently he works with an organization called Soul Survivor Outdoor. And we're going to talk all about that with Lacey today, none other than Mr. Jeremy Cole. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Jeremy, Lacey, it's great to have you on as always. So, Jeremy, I thought we would just dive right in and maybe hear your story, just a quick bio, however you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm Jeremy Cole. I currently reside in Denton, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, underneath some snow that we're not used to. And I'm a master's student at the University of North Texas. I retired in September at the rank of First Sergeant from the United States Army after 23 years of service. Currently work for Soul Survivor Outdoors.
Wow, it's spoken like a true military guy. Very humble and short. I love it. That's really cool.
Short and sweet, to the point.
Hey, did you retire this September like last one?
Correct.
Lord, and that beard grew quick.
It's been trimmed quite a few times already, actually. It's
I'm like, dang, you-
United thing, you know.
I was like, you've been waiting to let that thing grow.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Hey, Jeremy, I would like to know at some point as you tell your story how you know our former guest, my good buddy Johnny Melson. I have to imagine that has to be, I don't know if it's a story for our show, but did you, obviously he's a ranger and a sapper also, so I'm assuming you guys have crossed paths that way.
Of course, yeah. I used to be his instructor, so when he came through sapper school twice.
Wait a minute, you're Melson's instructor?
I was John Melson's instructor. Yeah.
Mother of God.
As they would say, bless your heart.
We've met Darth Vader, now the Emperor is on the show. This is unbelievable, awesome. Anyway.
No.
Jeremy, could
John was a
you?
blessing.
Oh, John is just a fantastic human being all around. He's a great guy. He's a funny guy too.
Yeah.
But Jeremy, could you maybe tell us a little bit? And I know Lacey will jump in on this about the Soul Survivor Outdoor, place you work. I know we just were talking about it before we went live, and I figured we would go live to discuss it. But maybe you could touch a base a little bit about what you guys do and what made you want to do it and things like that.
Sure. Everybody knows that active duty and veteran suicide is a bit of a pandemic in itself right now. So in November, I lost one of my former soldiers to suicide, and he was a hellacious soldier, and I just got tired of seeing it happen all the time, and I decided to do something about it. So I went through a GoFundMe, and I realized that as an avid outdoorsman myself, I was going to take guys and gals on trips and show them the great outdoors and to try to help them relax. What I didn't realize is there was already organizations doing this, and a Marine friend of mine put me in touch with a guy named Rick Wolf. And Rick Wolf started Soul Survivor Outdoors in 2014 as a nonprofit. And we work on getting soldiers, all service members, into the outdoors, and then teaching them about faith and spirituality.
No, that is beyond cool, and I think the combination, and Lacey, I think you would agree, what the Step Up America Foundation, March Forward Foundation through Lacey Evans, what we focus on at our foundation is teaching civics and U.S. history. Lacey's really, her March Forward Foundation is really focused on mental health, physical strength, well-being, and then you add outdoors, which is what you all do, along with the spiritual component, which I think this country is desperately missing right now. I applaud you for what you're doing, because I'm a new hunter, right, Jeremy? And avid fisherman that lives in Florida. I go fishing all the time. But hunting, there's something about sitting up in a deer stand, right? And by yourself, and it's quiet. I spent more time spiritually with my father than I ever had, and it is so peaceful, even if you don't see a darn thing. And I think that's cool that you guys combine. I just think it's I could blab on about this, and I'm going to hook you up with some other people here, Jeremy, that might be able to help your cause. So, but all right, I'm going to shut up now.
No, I think it was incredible. When I was reading the Soul Survivor program and everything that they offered, 2 words stuck out to me, and that was peace and restore, because that's kind of what you guys focus on. And then you add the religious aspect. But what I really like is that even if they're not there to listen to the word of God and that path, there is still so much they can get out of just learning how to dig deep into a different mindset to find that peace and that restoration, to restore there. Because it's right here. This is literally, because I have PTSD. It's not from military. I didn't go run from bombs and bullets. It's from childhood. It's from, drug addiction, depression, and it's disgusting. And this, you can never, a broken arm can heal. Bruises will go away, but the crap and the net, like this, oh my God, excuse my French, but when your brain just takes hit after hit, fight after flight from a young age or whatever they go through in the military, and it's like you can't catch that breath. It's stuck, and it's almost like mold in your brain. And I know exactly what that feels like. And being outdoors, like I get chills thinking about it, because I garden all the time. And I know that like has nothing to do with like rock climbing, but like that breath of fresh air, being in that sunshine, being off social media and TV and out of your house, and just getting that sunlight, and that, being outdoors is just does so much for what I call mold. I mean, literally, when you look at mold and you see how it just takes over your like I know it's like going on a tangent here, but I think you can agree that you can just see it taking over tile for tile. And I literally can kind of relate, like put those two together. Like PTSD, depression, mental health is like a mold that just feels like you cannot clean it out, and you want to scratch and you want to freaking dig and scream, and it's not going away, and you could throw bleach on it and it just comes back. But like, that's where we need to find how to kind of live with that mold, if that makes sense, and like create different things with it, right? And like that's why I think that restoring and peace, those 2 words that I read when I was going through what Soul Survivor stands for and what you guys bring to these military members, those 2 words, because I know what PTSD feels like. I know how, even with a good job and good money and a happy family, how some days I am so messed up, and I have no reason to be, but it's just like those memories and those things come back, and it's like a dark cloud and you can't take a breath. But when you get people like yourself and you freaking do what you're doing right now, which I want to thank you so much, because our soldiers need it, man. Like, as well as I do, they need this, and they need to get outside and off social media. So you're incredible.
Yeah,
what you're doing.
Take a breath, Lacey.
You sound like me. God,
Oh.
I
All
love
good
it.
stuff. All good stuff.
No,
I'm very grateful.
yeah. So, Jeremy, explain the process of how you get military participants into this program. Walk us through that process, and especially if there happens to be somebody out there, we really would love to know how they get connected with you, what they can expect, etc. And can they go get a 12-point?
Well, we don't really focus on hunting per se. It's always an option that's out there. I myself am an avid hunter and fisherman, but we try to do things that we can grab a larger audience. So we reach out to commanders at units, chaplains, senior level chaplains, usually brigade or higher level on military bases, to see what their needs are and see how we can assist them. And what happens is it's usually a chaplain sponsored whole unit, like the one we had in Waco was one battalion's, a group of soldiers from a battalion that signed up for the event. So we had about 22 soldiers down there from a support battalion, and we got to take them on horseback rides. I know in Southern California, they do tandem skydiving, which is really cool. And rock climbing, which as an instructor at the Cyber Leader course, I get pretty good at, so I'm able to really help out with that. But really, it's all about reach out to the specific base, talk to the leadership and their chaplains, find out if they have a need, which right now I think everybody does. COVID's exacerbated the situation quite a bit, and help them get their soldiers outdoors and give them that, refreshment and that rest. So, and just show them something new. A lot of these kids that, and I say kids, I apologize, I'm a little older, but, we took them on horses, and a lot of them had never ridden a horse before, so for them, that was something new and refreshing. And it puts a positive moment in their mind they can go back onto and say, wow, life is worth living. Look at what I got to do. You know what I mean? There are people that love me, that love soldiers and Marines and sailors, and they want to see the best for me, and they're willing to do things and take me out here and mentor me. And it's all about that love, right? Show them the love of the outdoors and show them the love we have for them.
So Jeremy, other than horseback riding, what are some of the other outdoor activities that Soul Survivor is able to provide for our military members?
Oh, goodness. So many.
Besides the ones you just mentioned.
Yes.
So they've done skeet shooting in South Carolina, the horseback riding, the rock climbing, the skydiving. We're working on whitewater rafting up in Tennessee and in northern Georgia. If it's outdoors and the command is okay, gives us the waiver, they do the risk management, say it's okay for us to take their soldiers on it.
Right.
We're going to do it, So those are our big things is, the fishing is cool, but again, we have to be able to take a lot of people out. We were trying to hit as many soldiers as we can with our events.
That is awesome. Very cool.
That is super cool. And with, during the pandemic, what a great way you were outside. So you don't
yeah.
have to worry about all that. You can go right outside and have some exercise, and it'd be perfect.
Well, now that you've met Lacey, she's got this beautiful little farm up there. So maybe you can have a herd of.
John's just inviting parties at Lacey's house now.
I know, right?
I just got the you nasty look right there, so I'm backed off.
No. I was just about to say, I do have a couple, nonprofits that I talk to and work with, and I'm on the podcast that you would just link up perfectly with out of Florida. Some of them are fishing, but if you ever, and I live right here on a military base, Parris Island, the naval base here, the air station. If you ever come this way or can talk our command in, I've got 11 acres. You could have a bonfire, shrimping, crabbing. I mean, I feel like we can get more boys out there with crab pots and nets than you can in a boat, around a fire. And, but yeah, you're more than welcome to, if you set it up, you're good on my side. Come on out and I'll stack the firewood up and have it all ready for you, whatever you need, man.
And Jeremy, if you ever want to take the guys up to the Boston area, Johnny and I will make sure that the Fish Billies at Cape Cod will take you out to do whatever you guys need. You just let us know. So I got all the.
Nobody wants to go up north, man. Nobody
in the summertime they do, though. In the summertime they do. I agree with that. I heard you guys have snow in Texas, by the way. I've seen all these crazy videos online.
Yeah, we don't have water in our house right now. All the lines are frozen because our stuff's not made.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm wearing a hat because I couldn't wash my hair.
Oh my God.
That is insane.
That's hilarious. I'm not going to say anything, but I think I am going to say something. I think it's like 82.
Oh, it's 82 and humid today. You can't see me from the waist down, but it's flip-flops on. But anyone who's out there and wanted to check into Jeremy's organization, it's called Soul Survivor Outdoor. The website is www.soulsurvivor.outdoor.org. I'm not going to spell the whole thing out, but soulsurvivoroutdoor.org. And while we're on the topic of all this, you know who I think Jeremy would have a great time with is the Racing for Heroes guys.
Yeah, I was thinking that
yeah,
same
you know,
thing.
We have a lot of we've met a great group of people up in Virginia. They have an organization called Racing for Heroes, and there's a couple of Green Berets who actually were nice enough on my birthday to take John, Adrian, and I on we didn't go fast, by the way. I will.
We did later. You missed that trip.
No,
But,
I'm trying to cover us because we weren't supposed to go fast, and now he's screwing us. But anyway, no, it was a great time. We went up there, and they do a bunch of great stuff. You'll actually, I was going to bring that up because do we have a commercial in a minute?
we do.
And so we're going to play the commercial, and you'll see the commercial. But they are Racing for Heroes. So you want to go to commercial? break
Yeah,
right now?
speaking of that, we're going to thank some of our sponsors just briefly here. And when we get back, Jeremy, I would love to talk to you about kind of the spiritual side of
Sure.
what you bring to the table and how that works, because I think that is so important in this day and age. So we'll be right back right after we thank our sponsors.
We believe at New Day USA, we have a noble purpose. We want to be known as America's mortgage company for veterans and active duty service people. Some of them are giving their lives right now today for the freedoms that we have here in this country. So for us at New Day, to help those people at this point in time, it's a labor of love, it's a noble service, and that's what we're all about.
All right, so we are back. Thank you to our sponsors, America's Dream Team and New Day USA. Hey, before we get into the second half of this show, Jeremy, we got quite a few people chiming in live, and I think Adrian's want to share some of these comments.
Right, we got a few comments here on the Facebook feed. So Joanna Cole is watching. That's my handsome husband.
Oh, Joanna, nice.
Excellent.
Bonnie Fleming, love what you are doing, Jeremy. And Joanna Cole again. Let's let them know that they are loved and cherished to our service
Awesome.
members. Amazing.
Excellent,
Love that.
excellent.
Bonnie Fleming again. Come to California.
Ooh, there we go.
See that, Jeremy?
Who?
You're going to West Coast now, all the way over.
Wait, who are they inviting, Adrian? Is it the Step Up
Already in
America
California.
Foundation people, or who's going to California?
No, I'm pretty sure Soul Survivor. I would
Alright,
think.
alright. So, Jeremy, right before break, we were talking a little bit how it's not just getting outside, doing these activities that brings mental health into these soldiers' lives, but there's also that spiritual aspect of well-being. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, the DoD even has said that spiritual fitness is part of resilience. Right? We get taught these resilience classes while we're in active duty, and spiritual fitness is part of that. So from our point of view, that means Jesus. From Soul Survivor's point of view, Rick Wolf, myself, and everybody that works there. And we try to inform soldiers what we believe is that they're not just some random act of space-time or a blob. They actually have a purpose, and their purpose is defined by God. They may not see that all the time, and we're not always meant to see it. Lean not on your own understanding, we say. So we just want them to know that there's a God out there, and despite the ways of this world, that he loves you, and he wants to see you live your life.
Well, that gives you purpose right there, right? If and I can speak to this from a Christian standpoint, and there's other religions and beliefs out there that we acknowledge and understand. But I had a very specific moment where I met Christ, and I won't share my testimony. But Jeremy, you were talking a little bit about the show prior to the show, rather, about your testimony. Do you want to dive into that?
Whew. All right, well, here we go. So if we have a second. I was a military brat. I was born in Okinawa. Grew up overseas until I was 8. We left Germany when I was 8 years old and moved to beautiful Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, where I was not a great athlete. I was not a great student. Pretty much made a lot of mistakes. And incurred a lot of failures, didn't even get a varsity letter to my senior year. But, and then I joined the Army after one semester of college, and just kind of floating around without a purpose. The Army got me with, hey, you can jump out of planes and blow things up. And I was like, I'm in. So I joined the Army, and I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, with the 82nd Airborne Division. And back in the 90s, Fort Bragg, not always the place to repent. Let's put it that way, especially the barracks life. As many people have heard, it's a lot like living a college dorm, except probably more debauchery because we actually get paid. So did a lot of stuff there, still managed to make it. My roommate had passed away during a jump accident. 2 weeks prior, one of our soldiers got shot in the back during a live fire exercise. So I experienced loss very early on. I was 19 years old when that happened. And I didn't have a lot of guidance. What guidance I did have, I kind of rejected. I was very rebellious. So I PCS to Fort Leonard, Missouri, did my first deployment to Kuwait in 1999, Operation Southern Watch, keeping Saddam from reinvading Kuwait. Spent 6 months there, came back, 5 months there. Came back for a year, deployed again right after the towers got hit, but we deployed to Kosovo in the Balkans. Did some great stuff there, kind of found myself. And then after that, really got into the party scene, real big. I was stationed in Missouri, and I was from originally, I claim St. Louis as my home. So we would go up to St. Louis all the time and just party hard. We got real into that scene, and it got into a cycle. You would deploy, you'd have a bunch of money, and you'd be in great shape because you were in the gym all the time from deployments. You'd come home with all this money. You'd give yourself a cool makeover, and you go out to the clubs, right? And you'd just get into all sorts of dumb trouble. And that caught up to me after Iraq. I did the invasion of Iraq, OIF 1 and 03, and that was a hell of a deployment. Got dysentery, had skin disease, was blown up by an IED, lost some more friends there. Came back, and the only way to cope with all that at the time, we weren't going to the chaplain. We were partying harder and harder and harder and harder. Well, some guys got into some bad stuff that I deployed with. And one of them, I didn't want him to go down. So I lied about it, and I did something to sweep what he did under the rug. It caught up to me, and I was court-martialed. At the time, I was a staff sergeant. I faced up to 1 year in prison, bad conduct, special discharge, so basically my life was over. I was married at the time. I had a baby on the way, my son, and I lost everything. So I declared bankruptcy that year. I was homeless for about 2 weeks in the woods of Missouri in my truck, just really down. I thought about taking my life almost every day for 2 or 3 years. The only thing that kept me alive was the thought of my son. And now I know that was God intervening on me. So I deployed again to Qatar to get away from that situation. So I left my wife and my son and deployed, and that ended up not working out. Just really down and out. Even that deployment, came back, got in trouble again. I was just very angry and bitter at the world. I got into a fight in formation. I showed up a little late, and my NCO got in my face. At that point, I was no longer a staff sergeant. I was a specialist. So I was E4. I got busted down, and we got into a bit of a tussle. So I got what you call a non-judicial punishment, Article 15. And then I was a PFC. I was a private first class with 11 years in the Army, which is unheard of. So then they said they were going to kick me out of the military. At that point, I had to humble myself and cool my nerves, and I reached out to a legend in the engineer world who was the sergeant major at the time of the brigade, and I pleaded with him to let me stay in service. And he didn't tell me yes or no. He just told me to get out after I told him my story. 3 months later, they repealed the chapter. I stayed in the military. I went from E3 to E5 in about 8 months. I moved to Germany to the 173rd Airborne, where I prepped for deployment to Afghanistan. So I deployed to Afghanistan, and that deployment is what made me want to be the best soldier I could be. In Afghanistan, I had to harness everything a soldier should know, how to lead, how to fight, how to find IEDs, because I was an IED hunter. I was in a route clearance package. My job was to go out and find bombs so the people behind us couldn't get hit. And we did it dismounted, which means we walked in front of our vehicles with a small climbing axe, and we dug up IEDs by hand, which for the first 9 months was actually pretty easy. Some people think we're a little squirrely for that, but whatever. Then the last 3 months, they decided to start throwing these things called bullets at us and mortars while we were looking for bombs, and that made things a little bit tighter. So went through that. After September 1st, we were in sustained contact nearly every time we went out for 3 months straight. We went out 4 to 5 times a week. So we're talking 3 to 5 minute firefights. And I know that doesn't sound like a long time, but I can assure you 10 seconds to getting shot at feels like a pretty long time. So we endured that. I made staff sergeant again, came back, and I was just so happy to be alive and just, excuse my language, but I was kicking ass. I went to sapper school. I went to ranger school. I failed ranger school the first time I went. I just started going to all the schools I could. I wanted to learn more and more and more and be a better soldier. I saw people getting airlifted out and pathfinders making these HLZs to lift people out, and I realized I want to know that. I want to be a pathfinder. I want to know how to patrol better. I want to be a ranger. You know what I mean? I just kept pursuing these schools, and I realized now I've been given the second lease on life. I don't care if I get promoted again. I just want to do this stuff. And to me, as a combat engineer, the best thing I could do was be a sapper instructor. So I pursued that actively, even when they told me I couldn't because I was a court martial, so I'd been blacklisted. I still pursued it. I didn't care. People were going to tell me I was breaking down every door I could to get to that spot. I got stationed back in Fort Leonard Wood as an instructor, but not as a sapper instructor. So for about a year, I fought to get into sapper school. Finally, I got someone willing to take a chance on me. Then I just worked my butt off and became a sapper instructor. And that's when I met John Melson. And he had an impact on my life because he was one of the oldest students we had go through. And here he is, big, meathead from Boston trying to get after it. But at that point in my life, I met my wife, and my wife's very traditional Baptist, and her parents required me to ask them if I could marry her. And they first question her dad said, "Are you a Christian?" I was like, "No, I'm not." And he was like, "Well, that's okay, because I think God has plans for you if He's kept you alive this long." And I was like, "Okay, dude, whatever," And lo and behold, within a year of being married, and my wife didn't push this, I actually pushed it. I wanted to start going to church. I wanted to be a better example. So we start going to church. In 2015, I got saved. I went to Ranger School in November of 2014, and I graduated on my 18th anniversary in the Army. So I was 36 when I graduated Ranger, which that meant I was the second oldest guy in my class of 182. And 408 started. So anywho, so I made it. I became a Ranger sapper instructor after being almost kicked out of the Army and almost thrown in jail. I'm hiding from Dad. So I attribute a lot of that to God looking out for me and helping me along the way. And then I didn't plan on getting promoted because I'm blacklisted. Like when they look at you to promote you, they know you've been court-martialed. And yet I got promoted, Sergeant First Class. Then I got promoted again, First Sergeant. I was able to go to Hawaii, work there, and meet a lot of great people. And through it all, you're meeting people and you're networking with them, and you realize that, especially now, that God put those people in my life for a reason. I wouldn't be working for Soul Survivor had it not have been for going to a church in Hawaii on the east side, making a 30-minute drive, and linking in with the Sergeant Major of Kaneohe Bay. And Sergeant Major of Kaneohe Bay, Sergeant Major Charlie Wells, now retired, linked me in with Rick Wolf, the founder of Soul Survivor. So like little things are put in your path throughout this whole time. Even when you think you don't know God, God knows you. And He put all these things in my path. So that soldier who, took his life in November, he was my soldier when I was a first sergeant. And he spurned me. What happened there, I took that negative and I pushed it to make a positive out of it. What can I do now? What skills have I been gifted with that I can help soldiers not take their lives? So that's really the testimony. I've got 2 little girls now, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. I've survived a couple different things that I didn't throw in there. I've been in a coma, been in a car crash, I've been shot at, blown up, PTSD, TBI. And, I went to the PTSD thing after 5 years of denying it after 2010. I denied it, and then finally I got to Hawaii, and my wife realized there's something wrong. And like Lacey said, you get these big balls of anxiety in your mind, and I couldn't even pray. I couldn't break them down. And I started saying there's something wrong. I started having really dark thoughts. And I had a wife and kids, and I'm having these dark thoughts. I can't imagine what it's like for soldiers in the barracks with nothing. So I started reaching out, and through my church, through behavioral health, I was given, special battery of treatments. I volunteered for experimental treatments on PTSD to help find a cure. So I kept rolling with that. And I realized PTSD is a real problem. We have this bravado when you go in the military, and at some point, you've got to let go of that and reach out for help any way you can. So if anybody is listening, they can reach me on Facebook. You can find me. I'm completely public, and you need to talk. I'll talk to you. I don't care what it takes. I want to see you tomorrow. So that's my testimony.
No, that's incredible. And
story.
Yeah, one of the things I love about real American heroes is they're always humble. And the fact you got on there and shared all of that mess you went through, right? That takes courage, and that's humility, and that's a born leader right there. So you had me crying, dude. You're killing me. I know it's not the first time. It's probably like the third time I cried on the show.
It's not that difficult, so don't be that excited.
Yeah, but I applaud you, and that's all the more reason that people can relate to a Jeremy, right? Because you're real, you're honest, and you can connect, and they don't feel like they need to be something more or greater than they are. Just be who you are and figure it out. And Lacey, you probably want to jump in here. But Jeremy, I hear two pretty young voices behind you. Do you mind? They want to pop in? Maybe your daughter's back there hollering at you, or no?
No, they're
No. All right.
My wife took them.
Okay. All right. Well, I was gonna. Anyway, Lacey.
Yeah, I I work with a lot of different nonprofits, just through my social media and my platform, because God, like you said, has given me some incredible. I was not a WWE fan. I did not have a dream of being some famous WWE superstar. None of that. I was an active duty service member. I was in the United States Marine Corps. I was an E5 sergeant. I was on an SRT, like civilian SWAT, the translation, and they literally came knocking on my door. So I'm sitting, I don't know how to put on makeup. I look like a man, let's be honest. I'm a female Marine across the board. There's nothing and all of a sudden so that God put that in my life. Then I had to make a decision, EAS and become a WWE superstar, or try to become one, because I had no idea how the hell to do it. I don't know how to put on makeup, but now, it was starting from scratch. Now I'm expected to be this. So, and I worked with a lot of nonprofits across the board, especially with veterans and PTSD, because of my veteran connection, and then my PTSD, drug addiction, mental health side. So it was just like a whirlwind of, I know what it's like to be effed up mentally and not be able to do anything about it. But I also know what the military goes through.
Yeah.
Oh, are those babies?
Come here.
Uh-oh. Lacey's getting excited. Are we going to meet the babies?
There we go.
Yeah.
As Lacey said.
Hey, oh, wow, a real baby, too. Hey.
How are you?
Hi, honey.
Say hi to Ben Franklin.
So adorable.
No,
You're
how
so
cool.
beautiful.
I know.
Another one. We got two. Hi, girls. How are you?
Hey, sweetie, how are ya?
She's 3. This is Jeremy, and that's Josephine.
Hi,
Hi,
ladies.
girls.
How
Good
cool.
to meet you too.
Hey, Lacey.
Your daddy is an incredible man. Do y'all know how awesome your dad is?
Yes, we do.
Very cool. Hey, Lacey, do you want to invite that family to South Carolina?
Absolutely. They're welcome anytime.
Well,
Come on, you guys.
I'm just saying February 27th, there's something cool
Yeah.
happening. Those
We
kids
have
might
a
enjoy it.
confidence score.
Yeah, Jeremy's like, I don't know if I can drive to South Carolina right now.
I do want to interrupt real quick that, I told you guys that God put my wife in my life, but my wife was active duty as well. She was also a military police officer. She was a drill sergeant, and she spent 14 years in the military.
Oh, wow.
And once we had this one, who was a blessing, by the way, which is a nice way of saying surprise,
Yeah.
we decided that one of us had to, break with the Army, and she decided to make that decision, which, is not an easy one after 14 years. And she
No.
deployed 3 times to Iraq, back to back.
Wow.
Her first deployment was 18 months.
Well,
Her second was 15 and 12.
I know she's right there. Does she want to hop on so we can say
We
hello?
haven't been able to shower, and she's
Hey, how are
Hello,
you?
how are you?
like, any woman doesn't like to,
Thank you for your service, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your service.
And
Yes,
please stay
thank
warm
you.
from the snow.
What's that?
I said, please stay warm from the snow. The
Oh,
kids
I
must
know, we're
love the
trying.
snow, though.
We're just grungy with no showers.
Hey, baby wipe it, y'all. You know the
Oh,
drill.
yeah. Burn bath.
Bird bath,
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's hilarious. But Lacey, do you want to? We got this really cool program happening or event happening on February 27th. Do you want to share a little bit about that and how people might want to get involved and come out and
course.
join us?
Yes. So, March Forward Foundation, Lacey Evans, stepped up and is working with Step of America and the Benjamin Franklin Project to not only bring the knowledge and education of America and what we stand on and what we're built on in order to make our youth stronger, more confident, good little leaders of America, because obviously for them to know about America, what it stands for, and the fact that they are our future, that's important to everybody that's involved in this project. So, but what I also wanted to implement is a physical aspect, outdoors aspect, kind of like you do, Jeremy, like get these babies off of the iPads, get them off the damn phones, the video games, get their asses outside so they can not only learn about America and how they impacted, how they are our future, but get their feet moving, their hearts racing, and learn about teamwork. Because it doesn't matter what career they're in, it doesn't matter what they're going to be in life, they have to learn to work together. Kindness and love, compassion. I can go down a rabbit hole, but that's what's wrong with America right now. Learn to be a little bit more selfless and loving and caring, okay? So what we're going to do on February 27th is have a confidence course, something I learned out of the military, because I remember going through those confidence courses, being exhausted, being just starving, but you have to you got to get through it together. And so we're going to implement the Franklin Project, a little bit about history, about America, and then getting these kids together in groups to freaking work together to push through, not only learn, but realize what they're capable of through a little bit of hard work and teamwork. So on February 27th at noon here in Beaufort, South Carolina, we have a little bit of mud, some confidence courses, some ladders, some balance drills, and some knowledge about America. And we're getting all the babies together to take part in it. And it's only $20 for the whole family. And, no age group. It doesn't matter. If you got a 2-year-old in diapers, grab their little hands and walk with them through the course. And then we'll do, waves. So I do want to mention that it doesn't matter how old they are. Everybody is welcome. It's $20 for the whole family. There are going to be dollar hot dogs, bounce houses, music, and knowledge. And we're going to point out, about what America is capable of if we all work together and put them through the obstacles. So if you guys, I know you're through snow right now, you start driving this way, and but yeah, so you can go online through Adrian, you could take this part away because they have everything set up. It's really easy through the the Step of America website. And it's all you got to do is register, pay your $20. It covers everybody in your family. And it's just going to be a day of social distancing. It's outdoors, lots of space. I do want to point that out because, we got to take care of each other and just get outside and get with your family. Like, that's important. Just have a day of getting together, learning and pushing yourself. So we're excited about it.
Well, before Adrian gets into how people can actually register for that, I do want to point out, Lacey mentioned it is $20 per family, but here's the thing. We realize there's a pandemic going on, right, guys and gals? It's and a lot of people are suffering, period. And no child, no family is going to be left behind. We've had several families reach out to us asking for help. Those kids are coming because we have been honored with several donations that are going to allow that to happen. So don't feel prideful. If you don't have it, just reach out to us so we can register you. Don't worry about it because we are not going to leave a single kid or family behind on this event.
All right, so it's super, super easy to register for all of our listeners and viewers out there. Just head on to our website, stepupamericaprogram.org.
All right. Any more comments there, Adrian? I think we got some more, Jeremy. They're all, man, you're a popular dude.
I know, seriously. So we have
What's
a couple
going
of
on?
a couple of new comments. So from another one from Bonnie Fleming, he's my favorite son-in-law.
All right.
And then we
Aw.
have
I'm her only son-in-law.
All right. Yeah, I was going to
Or
ask, are
only.
you the only one? Yeah.
Yeah.
there we go. And then another one from Joanna Cole. I love a good confidence course.
Ooh, all
Who
right.
doesn't?
Sounds
doesn't?
like the Cole family's coming to South Carolina. That's what I'm thinking.
Nothing gonna happen. Yeah, my husband's
So,
there.
no, you would honestly, man, come out. It would be awesome. Maybe we can get No, Melson couldn't because he's
No,
at
he's still
Sergeant
active,
Major
and he's
School.
in Sergeant
yeah.
Major School.
We
yeah.
couldn't drag him out there, but yeah, we'd love to have you out there, man. It would be so cool.
Love to be there.
So
All right, well, we getting to the end? Or?
I think so.
Unfortunately, we are coming to the end, but once again, if you are interested in the Step Up Confidence course, which is happening February 27th in Beaufort, South Carolina, you can visit our website, www.stepupamericafoundation.org. And once again on the line with us is former Army man himself, Jeremy Cole, and he works for a fantastic organization called Soul Survivor Outdoor, and you can find them online at www.soulsurvivoroutdoor.org. And Jeremy, I'm assuming you guys get the Twitter and the Facebook and all that Instagram stuff also. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm sure you can find them all on that. So,
Mark, yeah, I got a couple comments.
Okay.
Number one, wow, you're really slowing down the www dot. You're chilling on the Boston thing.
I do.
I'm
wanna-
impressed.
I do want to clarify. It's StepUpAmericaProgram.org, not foundation.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
leave it to Mark.
Yeah.
But Jeremy, man, what a cool
So
story.
if you ask Dr. Google, it'll correct you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. There we go.
What a cool story, and thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing it. You're a humble man, a God-fearing man, and a badass dude. And keep up the good work. Lacey, any parting words before we let Mark sign off?
I think just something that's really been weighing on my chest this whole time. You see, without getting tears, because I've, coming from a family that struggled with manly man depression and just anger and addiction and alcoholism. You see this man that is such a badass, and he's been through so much. But for a man like this to have the vulnerability to make people realize, that is one of the hardest things. And I think for a lot of people, but mostly military, is to let your guard down and freaking not be such a badass and let God in and let let go of that. And I know that that's hard. I've seen it. I've seen the most badass men out there that will literally, till their suicide, refuse to freaking just let it go and be vulnerable. And I know that that's what he's doing. And I mean, he didn't really touch on that, and I'm not speaking for him, but he knows as well as I do, when it comes to faith and when it comes to being a badass bomb throwing, like that, some point, whenever you're struggling with that, when you feel like you're being pushed, that you've got to let it go and you've got to let God in. And I think that I can speak for a lot of military members that you can be a badass all day long, but know when it's time to have that vulnerability and to realize that you are God's, okay? And like, you're gonna have tough days, and you need to admit it. You need to admit that you're messed up. You need to admit that you're hurting. You need to admit that life is hard, and that you need to be able to let that facade go of this tough, because you are hurting. And that's what he's doing. And I applaud you for that, because I know it's freaking hard, and I'm not going to cry, but I want to thank you for everything that you're doing in the Soul Survivor program. And you guys are incredible. Sorry for that rant.
Well, Lacey hit on it, though. It's we always say as Christians, we surrender. Because you really do. To open yourself up to the Spirit, you have to surrender. And for a military person, saying surrender, that's like, I'm not going to surrender. I'm too prideful. But you're right, Lacey. You absolutely hit the nail on the head. You have to let go. And I hope that me being on here, being able to let go and almost come to tears myself, because it's hard telling your story, especially saying most of the mistakes and the bad things that happened to me were of my own accord. No one did that except me. I made those poor decisions. And you have to step up to the plate and surrender that, and surrender yourself in order to open yourself up to help. You want to help. So thank you.
Hell yeah. That was a good ending. I was like, thank you so much.
Excellent,
All right, Lacey,
excellent.
we'll see you Thursday, Mark.
And
sir.
once again, we had on, it is Tuesday, so of course it is Lacey's Corner, and we had our special guest today, Jeremy Cole from the Soul Survivor Outdoor organization. For any people who got us on Facebook, especially my Boston guys, I highlighted Jeremy's name on there, so if anybody's having a tough day or anything, you can contact Jeremy through that. Lacey, I will get you Jeremy's contact info and friendship and all Facebook friendship and all that stuff. But it is unfortunately time to go today. So once again, listen to Lacey and don't be a nasty, and be like Ben Franklin and be kind to others, and you're being best to yourself. Thanks a lot, everybody. God bless America.
And his website's on the YouTube description.
Okay.
Excellent.